you come from a very, very traditional family. They
Yes,
did not
yes.
like the idea of, you hanging around with celebrities or film stars.
Not at all.
Right?
But they embraced our Raj Kapoor Association the first time into a public domain known thing. We were, otherwise, the parents would have not wanted it that way. But he just took to my parents as his parents. And then he introduced us, me in particular. We got very
This was
fond.
in London.
It was London when, back when his film Sangam was being finished. It was early 60s, something like that.
And then you come to Bombay.
And then we are there. They won't let us have it any other way. No home, no. Chembur was my home. And all the kids, we were all brothers and sisters. All the marriages, everything. And when Mrs. Raj Kapoor decided in London, before I had been to India, it has been many years I had not been to India. It was a myth I longed to, So anyhow, she said, she whispered one day to her husband's ear as we were coming out. I was driving them from somewhere back home. And she whispered something into his ear, and he said, "Khabardar, fir aisi baat kariye." So then I got scared, and I asked her later, what were you saying to him? So she said, I was telling him, we have to get Bina for Shammi.
Shammi Kapoor.
He had just become widowed. And he was very close to Bhabhi Ji. And she was his everything, his sister.
Bhabhi Ji is Mrs. Raj Kapoor. Krishna Kapoor.
Yeah. She was everybody's Bhabhi Ji. She was just an angel, gorgeous, fabulous human being. So I said, how can you say Shammi Kapoor? That was the first time I heard, and I thought, are you joking? My parents will have the same reaction. Don't do it. Don't. And I've never seen his movie. He's not my type.
And he's a father of 2 children.
He's father of 2 children on top of that.
And you're unmarried,
and
young.
he smokes and he drinks and all. That's a no.
Then what happened?
No, then she didn't stop at that. She continued, and she already talked to him about it. And then maybe it was a few months later that we used to write letters to each other, she and I, lots of letters. And she said, I'm going to make my dream come true and things like that.
Yeah. So you were Raj Kapoor's Rakhi sister. And so she's Bhabhi Ji, and she, you say that in his house, there used to be these parties where he would sit on the carpet and he'd have Lata Mangeshkar, Zohra Sehgal.
That used to be, yes, in his studio, the cottage.
In the cottage. So what was this cottage and home business? So there were times he would not go back to the home. He would stay on in the cottage.
No, I never knew of that. No,
you said that there was all of Rajji's attendants would be on call, alert to every whim, provided maximum comfort and hospitality to the chosen guests. When Rajji was in the mood, depending on his state of negotiations with his favourite Scotch whisky, we would be treated to rarefied hours of anecdotes. Yes. Cottage evenings also meant that Rajji might not return home to Devnar that night.
Yeah, he would. That may be possible. There were times when he didn't come home. We all left. It was the RK studio, the famous studio where all these films were made, was 2 kilometers from their home. Many events would happen there, celebrations, etc. It would happen there, but from the beginning when they first brought me there, they took me there, Bhabhi Ji, and I said, this is my sacred space. Only select few people come here. And then one other sacred place was up in the first floor where his last days with Nargis were there. They were very spiritual. So I wanted to see that too. And
what was that?
He was
a temple to Nargis?
He was a very passionate kind of a man with everything that he had done in his life. So there were various reasons. I don't know why this was very sacred for him, maybe. And he was a very romantic man. He got deeply involved and he could understand. He had 7th perception, not just 6th. He could foresee, he had vision very often of talking about what was possible in human beings, men and women that were creative. He would talk about, and I was not from this world at all. But when I met him, then I connected that he used to talk a lot about Hrishikesh Mukherjee. That was the name, I think. Was he was he a tall man?
Hrishikesh Mukherjee, reasonably, yes. He was a filmmaker.
Yes, he was a filmmaker. Great films he made.
Yes.
He had the greatest admiration, and he would talk about him a lot.
Okay, the different kinds of films.
Different kind of disciplines also he would talk about, and talk about their, like Zohra Sehgal. There was another lady called Leela something he had his father had a romance with Leela. Very beautiful, like Devika Rani type from that era.
Okay.
Maybe a little younger.
Huh.
And the things he said, I was young and child, but I saw my father's, that kind of, then he would describe the kind of romance and the depth and how they, and then how the husband saw it and supported it because he saw in it a truth. And then Chaiji, Papaji's wife, Papaji's mother, would also look the other way. And there were descriptions like you're watching a movie screen. I hadn't seen many Hindi movies in my life. The first Hindi one might have been Sangam. We were not allowed to see movies.
Namaste, Jai Hind. You're watching ANI podcast with Smita Prakash.
अगर हम उसको मस्जिद कहेंगे तो फिर विवाद होगा.
The issue is टूटा है क्या भारत?
400 पार का मतलब ये है कि संविधान खतरे में है.
क्या हम लोग ये निर्देश देते हैं कि फला को गिरफ्तार करके जेल डाल दें?
वही तो कह रहे हैं सब.
ये बेबुनियाद निराधार आरोप.
सच्चा सुनना चाहो देखो स्मिता प्रकाश ANI. It does not lie.